Cobra Kai.
Kidding.
I have a very funny food story of what happened with me and Ralph Macchio, if you'd like to hear it.
Yes, let's hear it.
Okay, this was really funny. So, Ralph and I have become friends, and he's a fan of my food stuff. Like he knows that I post a lot about food on my Instagram at StandUpDan, and so he's become a fan of all my food stuff. And he'd always say, "Hey, if you're back in New York, let's go out, let's go meet up, let's go, have some dinner." And I would text him, famous people, they say this a lot and they don't really mean it. So I would text him when I'd be in New York and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm not around. I can't do it," And once I texted him and he was like, "Oh, I'm in town. Let's do it." I'm like, "Really? Okay." And he's like, "Yeah, meet me at the steakhouse at, in Long Island." I'm like, "All right, sounds good." So it's the morning of our dinner and he sends me a picture of a wine. It's called a Sassicaia. It's an Italian wine that is probably like $500 a bottle. And he's like, "Just took this out of the wine cellar for you. We're going to have such a great time tonight." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. Like I'm obsessed with that wine. That's going to be nuts." So I do the classy move, Drew. I go and get to the steakhouse 15 minutes before our dinner. And I walk in and I go to the hostess and she's like, "Hi, do you have a reservation?" I was like, "Yeah, table for 2." And she's like, "Under what name?" I was like, "I think it's under the name Ralph Macchio." And she's like, "Oh my God, yes, of course, Mr. Macchio. Hold on 1 second." And then the manager comes over and he's like, "We're huge fans of Cobra Kai. We're so excited that you're here. We love that you chose our restaurant." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm excited too. But listen, man, listen. Here's my credit card. I'm paying for dinner tonight." And he's like, "Oh, but this is Mr. Macchio's favorite restaurant." I was like, "I don't care. You don't understand. He brought me this bottle of wine. He's bringing this wine. Under no circumstances is he paying. I'm paying. I don't want to fight. I don't want anything. This is my credit card. Take it." He's like, "Okay, you got it." Ralph walks in. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio in a restaurant in Long Island, it's like Long Island Jesus just walked into the restaurant. People start losing their minds, okay? And they come in and start taking pictures with him, and he's so nice and classy. He takes pictures with everyone. And the manager ferries us off to our table, and Ralph has this little like a little a tote bag that has it's made for holding wine, and he takes the wine out, and everyone comes around the table. They can't believe this bottle of wine is in their restaurant. And the sommelier opens the wine, pours it out for me, pours it out for Ralph, pours a little for himself. We each go like this, sniff the wine, take a sip, and right away we can all tell the wine is completely ruined. It's corked. It just wasn't stored well. It tasted like vinegar. It was awful.
Oh my God.
And so Ralph is like, "Oh my God, it's corked, Dan." And I was like, "I know. It's awful." He's like, "I'm so embarrassed. I wanted to show you good food and good wine. Don't worry. I'm going to make up for it. Johnny, bring me the wine list." And I'm like, "Oh no. Oh no." Because I'm paying for this dinner. And I'm like, "What? Oh, this is awful." So the guy brings the wine list over, and Ralph is like, "What do you think? How about this wine? It's $400, or maybe this one. It's $700. It's probably drinking really well." And I'm like, I don't think it's the wine that matters. It's just the company that you keep. Like maybe this $20 bottle is fine." And he's like, "Ha ha ha, real funny, Dan." So he's like, "Let's ask the sommelier." And the sommelier comes over and he's like, "Ralph, you're gonna think I'm crazy. All right, that $400 bottle is great. The $700 bottle one is great, but we have a bottle that is drinking so well, and it's only $190 a bottle." And he's like, "Really?" As in, like, how could a $190 bottle of wine taste good? And I was like, I don't know. If he says it's good, let's try it. So we get the $190 bottle of wine. It's awesome, obviously, and then he's like, "Dan, I'm gonna show you the best food." He's like ordering like crazy. He's like, "Let's get the caviar, let's get the lobster, let's get the ribeye for 2," out of generosity, because he thought he was paying for this dinner, and then the bill comes, and it comes straight to me, and it's signed and everything. And he's like, "What the hell are you doing? What happened?" I'm like, "Nothing, man. This is on me. I get this dinner. It's on me." And he's like, What? No, I wanted to take you out. I wanted to show you Long Island food. I was like, man, don't worry about it. And he's like, wait a second. You saw that picture that I sent you earlier today of the expensive wine. So you came here and gave your credit card. Like a flash went over his face. Like he realized what happened. And I start laughing. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's what happened. And he starts laughing. He's like, that's going to be my move from now on. I'm just going to send pictures of fancy wine. And I was like, you should call that the Macchio. He's like, I totally Macchio'd you. So that became our hilarious thing, is that he Macchio'd me. It was really, really funny because we were both trying to be nice to each other. So it just like, it was a pretty hilarious night.
That is very well. I mean, obviously he wasn't doing it intentional, but hey, the Macchio. I think you just gave an ideas to some people in the chat, maybe.
Dude, he Macchio'd me hard.
You gotta pull a Macchio.
I know. I gotta pull a Macchio. I'm just gonna send people like a $1,000 bottle of wine, and then just like, oh, I left it in the car, and then just hope that they paid.
Oh my god.